Here are 10 books that changed how I think about life. The first is Plato's Symposium. It may be the first ancient philosophical work that I had ever read. Likely I was 19 or so when I read it. And while I don't remember all the specifics, it had this impression on me that there is something going on in the world outside of my local experience. There are great ideas, great conversations, things that are deeper than at first glance. And it really helped to set me off in the pursuit of philosophy or wisdom to understand what it is to live a life that is well reflected upon and what it means to live the happy and good life. The second book is Homer's The Odyssey. This is one of those books that I never expected to enjoy so much. Sometimes you read an ancient book like this and you don't expect to be on the edge of your seat really, really wanting to know what happens. But it's an amazing work where, the evil suitors are at Odysseus' house and they are destroying his livelihood, mistreating his family. Meanwhile, Odysseus has been gone for 20 years. Poseidon the god is against him and he can't make his way home for his homecoming. And you really want him to get there and to enact justice against the bad suitors, for they are an example of, evil, inhospitality, rudeness, etc. And one of the cool themes of the book is how people treat foreigners. And so Odysseus is often very nervous when he goes somewhere new. Will they be good? Will they accept me? Etc. And this is because one of the key virtues in the books is how you treat others, how you give them hospitality, is sort of a primary virtue. And this would make sense in the ancient world where you don't have credit cards and McDonald's, so you genuinely need to care for the weak and those who are foreign from you because they don't have anywhere else to go. The third book is the Tao Te Ching, which is this, ancient Chinese work of philosophy, Taoism. Why it helped me, it changed the way I think, was that I was kind of locked into like a single, my tradition, my comfort levels, and my group kind of sees things this way. So whether that's Plato or Aristotle or the medievals or whatever. But when you start reading this Taoist work, you begin to realize, wait a minute, the real world, life, integrity, natural law, all these things, natural law in particular is what I was thinking of, it's the same everywhere. The same discoveries are being made in this Taoist literature that are being made in this Christian or Western philosophical book. And it gave me more appreciation for the consistency of life and the ability to find wisdom wherever it may be found. The fourth book is Aristotle's Nicomachean Ethics. I suspect this should be obvious, but this is the great work on virtue ethics, the great work on defining, virtues in particular, and to think through how humans change. There are other great works out there. I think it's Cicero or Seneca. I think it's Cicero on duties. You can read that as well in other writings, but this is the book that you want to read. I would say it's a difficult read, so maybe read an introduction first or a commentary or something, and then you can use it more like a reference book. You can read the portions that are helpful. Eventually, you probably want to read it all and piece it together, but it is not an easy read. The fifth book is Boethius's Consolation of Philosophy. This is quite an amazing book. You have someone at the height of his power in the Roman Empire, politically, his wealth, stature, all of these good things. And because he wants to do justice, people that hate justice turn on him, betray him, lie about him. He's imprisoned and he is sentenced to be executed, and he is executed. But while he's waiting to die, he writes a book on how philosophy helped him when he lost everything that's losable in life, almost. Wealth, prestige, status, honor, position. And at the end of the day, he discovers that the only thing that can make him stable and happy in this life is to find something that can't be lost. And in particular, well, I don't want to spoil it for you, but it's God and philosophy, and there's some other things that are involved in that. Read it yourself. It's a profound work of Western literature. It is a profound work of someone who is about to die and realizes that if you put your well-being and happiness in things that you can lose, things that are changeable, things that are like status or power, then you've completely missed the point of everything. The sixth book is not excessively old. It's The Abolition of Man by C.S. Lewis, the author of the Chronicles of Narnia. He writes this book about essentially how our technological and scientific society is ruining what it means to be human. Part of this is the kind of ignorance of natural law and much more besides. You should read it. It's a brilliant work. You'll have to read it 2 or 3 times and probably Google around to understand exactly what he's getting at, but it's worth the effort. The 7th book is The Epic of Gilgamesh. This is a work that has a special place in my heart. When I was younger and more ambitious in life, I suppose, I was learning Akkadian, and I began to translate a portion, one of the versions of The Epic of Gilgamesh, and still remember doing it. In fact, I have my notes behind me. Maybe I'll show it on here one day, just all my little translations of it. It's just an amazing book with perennial stories, fascinating things like the wild man Enkidu who is civilized by a woman and all this sort of stuff. It's a fun read. It's excessively old. I'm not sure I can't remember the oldest version of it, but something like 3,000 years old when it comes to the oldest versions of it, although there's permutations afterwards. It's amazing, fun to read ancient literature. The 8th book is Marcus Aurelius's The Meditations. This is a great book. Marcus Aurelius is the emperor of Rome, and essentially we have access to his journals about how he felt about life and how he thrived or attempted to live the good life as a just king. It's maybe cliche to recommend this book these days, but I don't care. It's amazing. You should read it right now. Don't make the mistake of not reading it because it seems too popular or something like that right now. It is brilliant. If you want to read something different in the same vein, read Epictetus's Discourses. That's also quite good. You can also read Seneca's Letters. They're similar in terms of life advice. Or you could read the Pauline Epistles in the New Testament, which would have similar sort of practical life stuff. The 9th book is Dante's Inferno. This is a bit of a cheat because I'm actively reading this book right now. But so far I can tell it's a work that is making me thoughtful about what vice is, and it seems to be worth every sentence read, and it makes sense to me why it's been considered one of the great books of literature. I'll report back on this when I'm done, but virtue and vice is a very important topic to me. I think those things are much more important than the things that we typically value in life. And if you want to see an illustration of that, you've got to read Boethius's Consolation that I recommended above. The last book is John Scotus Erigena's The Periphyseon, or On Nature. It is, I suppose, a very early medieval work, but it's sort of the capstone of classical philosophy. It's a Christian Neoplatonic work. It will feel inscrutable to read, and that's okay. Sometimes you need to read books that jar you out of the influence of your own reality, that prevent you from not seeing what is obvious to you, and that help you to escape the tyranny of present concerns. This book will do it. It is strange and weird and philosophical and unapologetic, and it will make you a different kind of person if you read this book. In fact, all of these books will make you a different kind of person. And if you want to continue changing and becoming a person who's more successful and so on, I hope to help you in this journey as I recommend good books and some other ancient wisdom, principles, and so on. So like and subscribe to this channel and watch this video on my shoulder, over my shoulder.